everybody, my name's Alistair McLaren and welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I am in a completely different location to where I was for my last vlog, and that is because I am now back in Perth. So I thought I would do a little bit of a wrap-up vlog with regards to the Edinburgh Tattoo, where I've spent the last 5 weeks over in Edinburgh performing at, and just tie off really the amazing time that I had over there, and just talk about the last week really, because I don't think I really checked in. I did a lot of sort of interviews with other members of the band, so so as you can see, I'm back home now, and it's been a couple of days since arriving home, and I'm pretty much just straight back into work. For those of you who don't know, aside from the yearly venture to Scotland to lead the Royal Edinburgh Military Tattoo Pipes and Drums, I teach and teach the pipes, and I'm very lucky to be the head of the pipe band program at Presbyterian Ladies College here in Perth. Back into youth development, but even more importantly, development for young ladies or young girls looking to learn the bagpipes. My colleague, Marianne, who's deputy head of the pipe band, is involved in that market collective thing from the National Piping Centre, which is my old workplace. So we have an important role here in Australia in Perth, Australia, to really help young females develop their skills in this industry and hopefully continue on when they leave school, so that there are more females playing pipes and drums out there in the community. On Saturday there was the last final 2 shows for the 75th anniversary of the tattoo. It was mixed emotions, I think, from most of my team and even myself. It brings to the end a very, very busy month for us all. Not just, my team, but the whole cast really performing a show every night, and then 2 shows on the Saturday. And in this case, in the final week, we did a double, so double on the Friday and a double on the Saturday. So by the end of it on Saturday, we were pretty wrecked. But then, obviously on adrenaline as well. It's always sad to say goodbye to my team. 85 members, 19 coming from over 19 countries around the world. Throughout the month, there's a lot of bonding and friendships are made. So you don't really know when you're going to see these guys again, really. Whether they want to come back again or they're successful in auditioning for the band the following year. It's just really, there's never any guarantee. So it's a mixed emotion for me, and you don't really get to say a proper goodbye as well, I always feel. And even with all the the friends you make in the other bands, I've got a lot of friends that I have in the military bands, friends in the dance troupe, friends in the fiddlers, and basically, and this year actually, when I was marching down the Esplanade for the final time, you're sort of thinking, well, I'm probably not going to see these guys on the other side of me for a while. I'm not going to even say, did I say goodbye? You're sort of wondering these thoughts as you're going down the Esplanade. The final 2 shows went really well. The audience were amazing over those 2 shows, and the vibe in the band was pretty cool. Traditionally, over the last few years, or not just the last few years, I think from about 2018, I've piped the band back on the bus. In this case, the pipers back onto the bus after the march down the mile. So I did the same again, piped them all back on to Cock of the North. So that's the tune that I used for that one. And then, tunes were had on the bus all the way back to Pollock Halls is where I can reveal now we're staying, because we're no longer there in residence. So yeah, back to Pollock Halls, and then from there for myself it was really just packing my bags, even though a lot of it had been done over the few days leading up to those last shows. It was just putting the final touches and everything away. All of our uniforms, so you can imagine 85 uniforms going back into stock. So that's a huge task there for the administrative or logistics side of the band to record all that, make sure everything comes back in. So for myself, and it's also handing my gear back, because I actually don't bring that back to Perth because it's just too heavy in my luggage. So I had to say goodbye to my uniform and hang it up with my name, and that just sits in the office in Edinburgh and waits for me to return next year. Although this year, coming year, within the next sort of 6 months, I'll need it in Brisbane, so it'll come over again for that trip. So yeah, once that was done, it was straight back to my room, do a bit of final packing, and then I ducked down to the cast bar to say goodbye to as many as my team as I could. I probably missed quite a few as well. And then yeah, it went really quick. I thought it wouldn't be that fast, but the turnaround between getting back, handing my kit back, doing the final packing, saying goodbye, and then having to make my way to the airport for around 4 o'clock was ridiculously fast. So yeah, it was sad, because basically once I got to the airport, that was it, and it sort of settled into my head. It's like, oh, did I say goodbye to that person? So yeah, got to the airport around about 4. Had to wait for an hour till we were able to check in, which was unusual this year. Last year, I believe I think a couple of guys actually were on the same flight as me. It opened around 4ish, so it was a little bit longer this year, or later this year, in terms of it opening up to check in, even though we had checked in online. And then Edinburgh, for some reason, the airport is like in the 90s still with regards to how you check in. Like, we were in the queue for literally 45 minutes to an hour, which was absolutely ridiculous, considering that we have all this online technology where we're checking in online, and there's machines now. You basically can just print your bag tags out and then drop it onto a machine that takes it away. So it's the only airport I've seen. Obviously I haven't been to every airport, but in my travels over to Scotland, and then recently to Brisbane and to Auckland and that, there's a lot of self-check-in. So in Perth here, one of the really small cities compared to Edinburgh, well, I think it is anyway, smaller than Edinburgh. Yeah, basically just check in yourself and put your bag tag on, throw it on the bag escalator thing, and off it goes, and you're done. Where yeah, we were queuing up for literally nearly an hour to get through, which was ridiculous. But anyway, I'm not going to rant on too much about that. I tipped the red sad face, which I hope you do if you get stuck in something. But yeah, the sad faces. And anyway, I don't know what happens to that. Probably nothing. But that was my experience anyway. It was pretty shocking, and same with the other guys that were waiting. In actual fact, one of our other band members didn't check in online, and we had to go to the other queue. Actually made it through 45 minutes quicker than we did. So where's the logistics in that, or the logic in that? Not logistics. Where's the logic in that? So yeah, the final week, it went really quick. I don't think, it's funny because I sort of break the whole thing into 3 weeks. You've got your, obviously your rehearsal week, and then your first full week. And everyone's buzzing for that week because, it's like, right, we're first time out in front of 9,000 people a night. And then we've got filming. So there's the big drive to get everything as good as we can for that filming nights. And then the second week is like for the tattoo team, we've got piping live, and then the shows are on, and it's the build toward, not for ourselves, but that week, the World Pipe Band Championships falls at the end of that, so everyone's sort of excited about the day trip over, or some members in the band are competing at it. As you know, one of my vlogs, we had members who were world champions in grade 3. We had the world champion senior drum major in the team this year. So yeah, we're basically, that second week we're driving towards that, and then we basically then for the third week, it's like the final week. So it's a countdown. Every show is your last show. So every time we stepped off the bus at the end of the night, it's like 5 shows to go, 4 shows to go, 3 shows to go, and eventually you're down to your final few shows. So it does go really quickly, and you don't really realize how fast it's going until you've done the final one, and then that's it. And one of the things I do tell my team, and it's sort of my final farewell briefing, which I did this year between the first and second show, is that I sort of try and remind them to take in as much as they can, absorb as much as they can when they go through that drawbridge, because they never know if they're coming back or not. I know a lot of them finish up at the tattoo going, oh yes, I'm definitely coming back, but life, jobs, other things get in the way, and they might not get that chance again. So it's important that they do take in as much in those last few shows, and really remember those and savor the moments. Remember the moments of going out there, because it's something they'll cherish for the rest of their lives. So yeah, that was the final week of the show, and then now we're all dealing with, I guess, the post-tattoo blues. That's what I'm calling it. Because you go from, being feeling like a rock star every night, going out in front of this hugely revved up crowd, loving everything that you're doing. So yeah, treating like rock stars, really, playing in this amazing stage, to doing nothing, going back to normality, your daily job, your studies, your family lives. A lot of our band members come from really small community bands, so we've been performing as a massive 47-piece pipe corps, this big huge band with 3 files at the tattoo, to really small bands with 6 pipers and a really small team. So it does take a bit of time, and something I mentioned in actually one of my last messages in our WhatsApp group is, people just to take care of themselves through this time and be kind, because it does take a little bit of processing to come back down from such a high. And for myself, I've been through quite a lot of this, not only in the sense of competing and the tattoo, but even in sports with Ironman. You spend all this time training, 15 to 20 hours a week, absorbing everything into this one goal, and then you achieve that goal, and it's this huge emotion, whether you're winning the worlds, of all that, dreams to do it, and then you're releasing this emotion on the Glasgow Green if you're competing, and then for Ironman, releasing the emotion running down that red carpet, is because you've, one of the things my coaches said to me when I used to train for Ironman was that every training session you go out for, you're wrapping up a present and you're putting it under a Christmas tree. So you're continuing to wrap loads of presents, and then on the day of the race, if you've done enough training, you're basically just unwrapping the presents as you go through your 12-hour Ironman. So the same with piping, really. All those practice sessions you put in, working hard, whether that's for working towards the Edinburgh tattoo. I might have to come back here. I think that's my food order, so I'll be back in a second. Right, sorry, I had believe it or not, I had a Uber delivery coming, so I had to quickly duck out and grab that. And so yeah, what I was talking about, so with piping, it's the same sort of thing. You do all this practicing, all the practice you can, you're wrapping up these presents, putting them under the tree, and then you get to the Worlds, or you get to the Edinburgh tattoo, and then all that hard work you're unwrapping throughout the month. And then at the end of that month, You go from, all this practice, all these performances, to, especially the tattoos every night. So you've got this schedule to basically nothing. You don't have to be at the bus for a particular time. You don't have to be ready for the show for a particular time. You can cut back your practice length of time. If you're competing at the Worlds, you don't have to be. You've got a break. You don't have to be doing your MSRs and medleys. Straight. Every day working at things for perfection in your playing. So, yeah. I guess now, even myself, I find myself, going. Sitting at work teaching, because I'm straight back into teaching. I had 10 lessons today, so that was good. That kept me really busy. So 10 students' lessons, but yesterday was a little bit quieter, so I found myself sort of drifting in and out of just a bit of a down zone, because we've been so busy to all of a sudden doing nothing. But don't get me wrong, it's nice to be not doing nothing and not doing anything, considering we've had such a busy month. But it does take some time to go from here to there. So, yeah, if you're watching this and, are thinking about doing something like the Edinburgh Tattoo, or taking on a really big event like a marathon or an Ironman or whatever, raising money for a charity because you're doing, a certain amount of swimming kilometers or whatever. I don't know, if there's lots of things out there, if you're targeting something and you've got this structure that you've got into your life that you've been working on for such a long period of time, then all of a sudden it's not there anymore. It's that post-depression, as they call it, the come down, that's really difficult for a lot of people to comprehend or to balance, really. And I've been one of those people over the time has really struggled with that aftermath of the massive high. And I guess that's why when I did Ironmans, I pretty much signed up for most of my next race straight after the event itself, because, you want that next adrenaline kick. So you want to know what you're doing next. Or, finish an Ironman and what can I do next? So, sign up for, I think my first one was Ironman Wales, so I did that one, finished that in September, and the next thing you know, I was signed up for Challenge Roth, in Germany, and then I loved that race so much. I literally was, as soon as, I was at my work desk pressing refresh on the entry form, because it used to sell out in 60 seconds to get back into that race again. So, for the tattoo, it's a little bit different for everyone, because they'll go from this huge buzz right there, especially my team, and then they have to wait now until the application process opens up in around November time, and go through that whole process again to find out beginning of next year whether they're successful, if they want to be a part of the team again. So that's quite a long period of time for people, and I guess I'm lucky because I'm the pipe major, so I know that I will be there next year, so I have that to look forward to. I have Brisbane and Auckland to look forward to, but for the rest of my team, there's no guarantee of these events being on their calendar or they're successful being chosen for them. So anyway, post event depression, so post-race, post-event depression is probably a really good thing to speak about, and managing that. Look, and if you are one of those people who really struggle with this, then I highly recommend going to speak to someone, and they will definitely help you get through it. So if you're out there and struggling at the moment, then please go speak to someone, or reach out to a friend, because it's really important. Don't get left on your own. So the tattoo in itself, I'm going to try and briefly summarize this. I thought this year was the best tattoo that I've been involved in, and that includes the one way back in 1997. So yes, technology has completely evolved since then. I really liked having Terence as the narrator. I thought having someone on the Esplanade narrating, to me, is much more visually appealing than someone sitting in the box at the top just reading out a script, even though Alistair Hutton, who was the voice of the tattoo, did that for so many years and is a complete legend at doing it. To me, Terence just being out there, bringing everything together, being a visual thing on the Esplanade, was simply superb. So Terence, if you're watching this, you're probably one of my highlights of this year's show. In terms of the music, I think I've talked about this before. I thought the music, piping-wise, was awesome to play. It was really reflective of the anniversary, really reflective of the traditions. It was really cool to play Amazing Grace again. I remember playing that back in 1997, but to bring it back in that Tattoo 75 set was pretty cool. And yeah, just little things like the lights and the singing in the finale. It's when I'm just reflecting on it now, it was an amazing show and so grateful to be a part of. The tough thing now will be how do they back this up next year? And knowing it, Alan, I think he'll have something pretty cool in mind. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that all evolves into next year. Call to the Gathering or something like that. Cool pipe tune, by the way. I think the Bogle used to play Don Bradford tune, Call to the Gathering. I'm not sure if that will be involved though, if it's a completely different thing. But looking forward to seeing how that evolves. And next on the cards for myself, for the tattoo side of things, is selecting a team for the Brisbane and Auckland Tattoo. So that's going to be quite tough because it's a lot smaller band. Unfortunately, some people will miss out in that process. But it's good in a way because it means it's competitive and it means that our standard of the tattoo band is going to be high. And then outside of that, for me, it's really getting back into the routine of teaching the PLC pipe band. The girls have a lot of events coming up shortly. We actually, this Saturday night, so there's no rest for the wicked for me and Marianne. We basically have our senior showcase, so the senior band performing on Saturday night for the school. And then on Monday night, we have our development band playing. So we're straight back into it this week. And then after that, it's then preparations for speech nights and things in term 4, as well as working towards the Australian National Championships in April next year. So it really never stops. And I think that's really it. I've talked a lot of blabble here, but I just thought it would be good to do another vlog here and touch base since arriving home. My vlogs may change a little bit over the next little while with lots of other different topics. I'm just come off the back of surgery, operation, before I came to Edinburgh. So now my journey now to getting back to fitness for the triathlon season has started. Actually started tonight, but I'll get into more of that soon. And and talk about some of the racing events that I'm looking at hopefully doing in the next 12 months. As well as many other exciting projects that might be on the cards. So thank you for subscribing. If you have, please like this video. Thank you for those who have tuned in to all my vlogs and interviews in Scotland whilst I was there for the tattoo. Thanks to my team for supporting me in this and taking part in all those interviews. It was really cool to have you as a part of that and for you to share your stories with people who are watching this. And it was good to find out that some of the cast were watching as well. I think I had one of the dancers mention to me on the final night that she's been watching my vlogs as she's been doing her hair and stuff before leaving for the show. So that's pretty cool as well. Anyway, I'm going to eat my dinner and then chill out before getting ready for work tomorrow. So thanks again. See you on the flip side from Perth. See you guys. Bye.